This is probably going to be a fairly short video. Noodlings at the end of day. My noodlings at the end of day thoughts, reflections. And this video is some thoughts on the importance of dissent. Dissent being basically the opposition to consensual or accepted views, an opposition to what is generally uh, accepted to be the way things are is perfectly fine. Everything is going in the right direction with a few nuances here and there. No need to get focused on anything. Move on. Nothing to see here. Kind of consensual view. I think this is quite operative. I think this is quite operative in the society that we live in. There is a fundamental default position that just because things are the way they are is the way they should be. And dissent is an element of thought and reflection on that particular topic with the conclusion that, well, maybe things shouldn't be the way they are. And this, of course, I made a video and I said that opposition to a consensual view is frowned upon, generally speaking. We become threats to an establishment. This is all very straightforward, very clear. And in my mind, what I was thinking about, the importance of dissent. In fact, I would go so far as to say that even if you don't have a specific thing that upsets or distresses you, me, the focus that what I reflect on is that there is just an essential importance to dissenting. Almost to the point of a level of irrationality within us. Okay, that may sound what people say, well, no, you can't just sort of throw things out just because you have an attitude of being a contrarian, which I've said too. I'm essentially, my nature is one of contrarian. And for anyone who's been paying attention, what's happened to these guys? The line, Lamont Daigle, whoever he is, very vocal on the mandates and the restrictions, and I haven't heard much from these people. I bought a shirt and I support people that dissent. These are dissenting voices in our society. They created a little logo, a circle. I guess this is the line in the sand, the circle. But I think it's kind of, there's maybe a bit more to it. Maybe not. Maybe I'm reading into it anyway. Anybody know what happened to Lamont Daigle and his bunch and his group? People I like. People I like. I haven't really seen anything from them. Maybe they're being blocked by the YouTube hyenas, the YouTube scandalous corporation who make sure that that there is only a small level of dissent. Real dissent is not permitted on this platform. Maybe by me saying that dissent is important, maybe that is an offense in their guidelines. I don't think so. So the idea of dissent, in essence, regardless of the topic or the issue, and there are many issues, there are always many issues. I think society is built on the fact that we have not, or not built on the fact, but is in essence a representation of our failures more than our successes in many ways. That's how I see it, that society isn't working. Even though it feels very self-gratifying, we can pound our chest and look somewhere else and say, well, those poor people don't even have drinking water. Mind you, if they knew what our water is filled with, the fluoride and whatever, maybe you don't want that clean drinking water. Or people say to themselves, well, we're very fortunate. Even though it's not perfect, we're very fortunate. And that may well be. Things could always be worse. It's like that Monty Python skit. You know, the guy says, you know, I grew up in a basement and I had to sleep on nails. And his buddy says, I dreamed of growing up in a basement sleeping on nails. So things can always be a little bit worse, of course. So then someone might say, well, shut your face, shut the fuck up, you're doing all right, toe the line, it could be worse. But that's not the point behind being a thoughtful, mindful human being. There are things that shouldn't be the way they are, and especially now, with the 2.5 years of shit show behind us, things are not getting better. They seem to be in a lull, fundamentally a bit of a lull, but none of the stuff has been removed that they put on us. Especially the destruction of I'll say it, the medical system as we knew it had its flaws, but now it's completely broken. You can die from the shit show. No, sorry. You can, you do, but you cannot die from the shit show. And when I say shit show, I'm not referring to a mysterious beer virus. It's a completely different thing. The beer virus and the shit show are completely different things because one exists and one doesn't. And the shit show is prevalent. All right, so that is just an oblique reference. I'm not going to deal with the shit show right now. What I was thinking today is the importance of dissent. And dissent can take many versions. There are many forms of dissenting, from merely saying no. Somebody says for you to do something and you say no. It is a form of dissent. Another form of dissent is, other than refusal is an obvious sign. The other form is a more aggressive version of it, where you see people literally defending themselves against atrocities. That is a form of dissent. Yes, it's when people defend themselves in a conflict. Obviously, opposing sides dissent each other. So from merely saying no to the extreme, what occurred to me is not the topic of your dissent, but the fact that your nature is one that dissents, with the default notion being that things are not the way they could be. Things could be better, even though people will say, what an ungrateful bastard you are. Things could be better. Well, you have everything you need. You have food, you have shelter, you have all the things that are wonderful. Why are you even bothering? Well, at this point in a person's life, if you are scrounging to survive, you're not going to be thinking about this kind of stuff. You're going to be naturally in a state of dissent, but not actively. What you're doing is surviving. So in a sense, the best time to dissent is when you have the luxury to reflect, where you have a sense of personal calm, in a sense, where something can be reflected upon. We can come to a conclusion about something that makes sense. It's not a reactive thing. It's a reflection. It's what I say always. Mindful thoughtfulness is very important in the way we approach things. So here's my brief thought on what this actually means, this idea to dissent. And that is to create with my preoccupation is with an inner world, that an inner world is not, it's the word I'm looking for, satisfied if there is if there is a level of compliance with the world around us, whether we know or don't know what it is that we're not liking. We need to have this feeling within us that things within us are not right, because if it's sort of like this Swami Aum kind of feeling, it's very likely erroneous. It's an illusion, because it's the idea being that if one person is suffering in the world, we're all suffering on some level. Obviously, it's an idealistic situation to assume everyone will not be suffering. And I'm not even going to get into suffering, the meaning of suffering and all this. I'm just saying that if there are circumstances in the world, in people around us, that is unsatisfactory, we are all, in some sense, responsible for that. So the dissent idea is an acceptance of responsibility. That's what I was thinking today. That it's not just the idea that we want to change something in the world, but that we take responsibility. Without dissent, as far as I got today, though, there is no sense of personal responsibility. That was my conclusion. So anyone that is basically going along with the company line without any question is abdicating the responsibility we have to each other. It's very ironic, right? It says, it screams out, it says, are you crazy? It's like if, there's people that have all good intentions, and our political leaders are so much in love with us, they want to make sure we're safe and all of that. That is magnificent. How could that be abdicating responsibility? I don't think you have to look very far to see the error in that kind of reasoning. So I think that that was the highlight of my noodling, and the dissent is an expression of responsibility that we have to each other, obviously to ourselves, and in terms of the things that are wrong, we need through our conscience to fix in the best way we can. But underlying even conscience is this notion of dissent. It's crucial. It's absolutely crucial. And out of that awareness, there is this faith I have, the dissemination, a sense of the dissemination of this. The world around us will become more like us as we are able to put this into practice, in whichever form it needs to be put into practice. Like I said, there is a wide range of expression of dissent, starting within us, just to have that, as I see myself as a contrarian. Most of the paintings I make are rooted in this feeling of, I'm not going to tell you what you already know, or I'm not going to just play along and decorate your walls. This is not my intention. My intention is to create a feeling of challenge. When I look at a painting that I like, I feel quite often I feel upset. I feel challenged. I feel distraught. I feel jealous. I wish I would have done that. I have my own flaws when I look at paintings, and I say, "Hey, I would like to have done that." Anyway, just another video in a long history of videos. I've been doing this since 2009 when I first started my channel, and I've grown over that time. It's close to 13 years, I guess, and the way I look at this platform and the way I look at these videos is in a way a bit like my paintings too. I think that I have this when I look at work that I did 10, 20, 30 years ago, I look at it also from a point of view of what I'm doing now and how I was then, how I felt then, and these videos actually are a little bit like that for me as well. So I've kept them. I've got a hard copy of all of these. So if YouTube erases it, I don't know if I'd ever upload them, but it's a good record. Like the paintings that I've made, they're a record of my state of mind and emotionally, and I think it's a valuable thing to do. So I keep doing the videos, and I hope my my noodlings today make sense, and um, I could elaborate on the nature of dissent, or what I would consider to be the highest form of dissent, which is a complete acceptance of one's conscience, to be able to be strong enough to let that element within us totally dominate all our actions and decisions. I would say that is the highest level of dissent. Um, Ironic in a way, yeah, but it is. I'll leave it here.